Hi, y'all. Welcome back to Date Car Pod. I'm Jenna. And guess what, Sheeple? We're here for week 5 of Jenn's journey to, for the love of God, pick the best man out of perhaps one of the worst selections a Bachelorette has ever had. And to talk about it this week, I'm so excited to welcome back friend of the pod, Claudia Thompson from the Rose Noire podcast. Thank you for coming back.
Yay, yay. I'm so happy to be back. And you did not say the word sheeple. I could tell that the tone of this thing, where we're gonna be led. Yeah, that was terrible. The
You're
sheep
welcome.
scared the hell out of me. So
Oh, really?
that
You're like a kind of a sheep
any kind of
avoidant.
wildlife in wildlife is anything bigger than a squirrel. So
Okay,
um
fair.
yeah,
Real.
or pigeons, because I'm
Oh,
from New York.
oh,
So
well, yeah, true. And they are bigger than a squirrel, and sometimes I like it from what I've
yeah,
seen.
no, but even if I see another any kind of other rodent, I just can't. So,
Well,
but
yeah.
even though sheep are not rodents, but
Hmm.
squirrels certainly are.
That's so true.
But yeah, but I'm happy to be back, and I got through the episode, so that was something. And yeah.
Oh my God. Like, before we get into like this week's episode, kind of what are your, I mean, I've been listening to the pod and I like that you guys have like, you're excited about a lot of different things, but it's like this season is it's interesting and it's not Jen's fault. It's like it's
No,
just like the men and all this or all
society.
sorts, yeah, society issues. But what are your thoughts overall? Like, are you enjoying the season overall though? Like, are you, what do you wish was like different?
Um, I'm enjoying getting to know Jen
Yeah, same.
in all her layers. Um, what I wish was different, and we talked about this on our podcast again, because we just recorded. This cast isn't for her.
No.
And we've seen this before where they have this cast from, like, 2 years ago, and they don't know who they're necessarily going for. But for so long, The Bachelor looked kind of the same way and had a similar background and similar religion and upbringing. So you didn't have to worry too much because you pretty much knew it was going to be a hot white chick.
Hmm.
I think the fact that we know now, since we've had several Black women or women of color
Hmm.
on, though Jen is the first Asian, I feel like they should have gotten people open to dating anyone for real, and people that would have connected with and actually been invested in it. Because sometimes you can put my type down on paper and present them to me in person, and we may not have a match, right?
True.
That's natural.
Hmm.
But what the difference was of Charity season to this season is that I find that I mean, whatever they did, they really got people that actually, most of them, I'm
Right.
sure there's still some of them that, you know, were somewhere on January 6th, but I feel like most of them actually could be interested and were interested in Charity. And we didn't have to, I mean, it's just exhausting after watching these episodes. Like, I just can't.
And
I
it's,
fall asleep earlier and earlier, and then it's
yeah.
not like this one was a little sleepy, but it's just that I think that's what I wish would be different, is that we would actually have people that didn't have her question her self-worth on the show.
Yes, exactly. And like we'll get to it a little bit later, but she had this beautiful moment with Grant where she talked about her past relationship and how he gaslit her and told her racism wasn't real and that she was overreacting when talking about Asian hate that she experienced. And
Hmm.
I'm just like, okay, would I mean Grant wouldn't probably do that because he seemed very like on the same page with her about talking about racism. But it's like I can't guarantee that half these other men wouldn't. Like it's just you don't know. I know we're of course we're painting with like a broad
We
brush,
know at
but
least about one of them.
we,
We sure do.
yeah.
We-
But it's like I agree with you. Like it's exhausting because I mean I cannot tell you every single person I've talked to who's enjoying this season for any level of it is like Jen deserves better. Jen deserves better. And listen, my fucking stupid ass was like, and I'm not, and they're probably still gonna fuck it up. But I was like worried about like, oh, is the show itself gonna do like really bad like anti-Asian like representation? Is it gonna really hurt her that way? Which again, they probably will. But I, for some reason, stupidly was like not thinking like it was like gonna also be this as well, and that she was just gonna get this like shit like group of men to choose from for the most part. Like obviously, there's like some people that like people who went home that like I would have loved to seen like what Dylan was about. I would have loved to
Hmm.
seen more of some of these other people in the past. I mean, and it's just like it's just sad. So I fully agree.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that, I mean, Dylan, hopefully we'll see him on the beach at least.
Yeah.
She's not into, again, I can't fault her if she's not into people. She seems very, like, knows who she wants to be with and sends those people home. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just wish that there was I just want more for her. You
Mm-hmm.
just want people that bring out the best in her, and it's not happening.
Yeah.
So it's, she's just constantly like having to be validated because these people don't, and that should be a natural, like, want to,
Mm-hmm.
even if they're not fully into her, they
Mm-hmm.
should just be good humans, and they're just like more focused on themselves and what they want and their needs. And so, yeah.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
Hmm.
We'll see how it goes. But case in point to maybe my earlier point about like Jenn is growing and showing who like she is finding her footing and knowing herself more, considering all the things that we've learned about her with her growing her the way she was raised. You know, with her ex Matthew, she sent him home, and I didn't know. I think I didn't expect that.
Because listen, he paid his own way and found her in an undisclosed location. Amazing. It's amazing how he found her. I think that we are, when we talk about this, so interesting because I think that we normally would expect her to have to keep him because he
Yeah, yeah.
came all this way. I
Mm-hmm.
love that she sent him home. I think that that was something too, especially she was starting to get into that pattern again that she's been saying of like, wow, no one's ever declared their love for me like this before. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. And I was like, girl, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. And I was starting to get really upset. And,
Yeah.
and he seems lovely enough and,
Very, yeah.
whatever. He seems whatever. Seems like an accountant or something. I don't know. But I feel like he could do my taxes. But I feel like he is, the fact that she was like, I don't want this, was good.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, but we we know that he was there for her, I
Mhm.
think.
I mean,
'Cause
right,
he didn't
or
even seem like he had enough like pizzazz or personality to want to be on TV. Like he might have actually been like, crap, I had something good. I'm gonna go tell her I love her, but she's probably like moved on. She was
yeah,
like
yeah.
moved on already. So yeah. So I do think there's definitely hope for her because
Mhm.
she it's very obvious she knows who she wants to be with.
Mhm.
It's not like it could be one of two. I think she's very clear at this point who her person is or who she thinks is her person.
Wow. I've been not paying attention because I don't know and I don't want to know
Well, I
yet.
think what her sending this guy home, there's somebody. I mean, maybe it's down to two.
Right, but she is, yeah,
But she's very clear that she has someone in mind.
yeah, yeah.
Because I think like when we think back to Michelle's season and Nate and they started showing behind the scenes after she had picked him and they were like, who's the date with first, like who's your first hometown date or
Right.
fantasy suite? And they were like, Nate. And she's like, yeah. And she was like jumping up and down. It was like very obvious
Yeah.
by that time, whenever it
Yeah.
was, that she knew Nate was her pick.
So true.
So I have a feeling that Jenn is very close, that she kind of knows already who she most likely wants them to be,
Oh God.
which is frightening.
Which is I know
Which is
I'm like
it's frightening because I hope it's
well,
not based off of what she's seeing,
yeah, I
because
know.
we know it's not based off of what we're seeing. Yeah.
I mean, let's just talk about it. It's the elephant in the room because I was
Hmm.
laughing my ass off listening to y'all's episode last week and listening to everyone's episodes. I listened last week. I actually was like, I'm gonna like clock in and listen to
Hmm.
all of my friends' podcasts, and everyone was just like, Devin, including myself when I was watching the episode. Right, Devin. Oh my God, what a turnaround! What an amazing
Hmm.
date! Holy
Hmm.
shit! Holy shit! Holy shit! Then the next morning, I got roughly like 10 DMs, and they were like, "Girl, look." And everyone had the fucking floor kicked out beneath them to an extent. Obviously, I feel like some people may have
You
known.
know that we did the same thing.
Yeah, it was like, and you were, I think it was someone was like, well, if she doesn't choose him, he should be the next bachelor. And I was like, ah,
Yeah.
you know, because
Well, I said that. I think we all said that
exactly,
because we're like,
absolutely.
oh yeah, like this is great. Like, and Sam M, shame on him. Yeah, no, he's in the same camp. Yeah.
Fucking A, dude. It was horrific. I mean, not surprised at all. Like I was like, oh yeah, okay, absolutely. Not shocked at all or anything, but and if people don't know, a series of problematic posts that he liked up until March were
Mm-hmm.
surfaced, including also footage of him or like recording of him rapping the N-word in a song he did. They cut out a scene in the first episode of him talking about 9/11 being a conspiracy. Um, yeah, all of it. And
Delightful.
it was just like it just kept going, and it's like transphobia, it's racism, it's anti-vax stuff, it's anti-immigrant stuff, which I'm just like, okay, well, we just learned that your father like, I'm so
Yeah.
I'm so confused. I'm like, you did so supposedly well on this like very culturally infused date.
Mhm.
It was like truly wild to me.
It's
And that
actually
that part of it.
scary.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
well,
yeah,
it's
speak on
scarier
that.
because you were able um to sort of, to blend in and
Yeah.
sort of pull the wool over her eyes. And I feel like she is, I mean, what she talked about, which was a
Mhm.
major trigger for me, being in interracial relationships over and over and over again, and having to explain myself, right?
Mhm.
And to look for any kind of validation. And someone's telling you that you're being sensitive or you're being too, you're overthinking things. And everything that she said, I
Mhm.
have experienced in most of my interracial relationships, which is why I probably should start dating sheep. I should start dating animals because I think, I mean, there's just something wrong with,
Like
my God.
literally. No, I know. I was gonna suggest women, but like white women are for the most part horrific. So
Yeah. I
like,
know. And my mom is gay. I've seen it up firsthand.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
I'm
So
like,
it's
oh,
like
it's no better.
you might have like a
No,
little better chance sometimes, but like it's no guarantee by any means.
it's still just a different kind of trauma. It's a
Yeah.
different kind of,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, but in all seriousness, like Devin really fooled us
Yeah.
because he fooled everybody. And I said this before too, on our recording, it's not that you can't have done enough listening and learning or whatever they say, whatever nonsense they say. It's too soon because his stuff was very recent. Like it's not like 2020 and he had a massive, like,
Yeah.
mind blowing,
Unmaking. Yeah.
like, wow, my friend, I saw, like, when I watched George Floyd, and it maybe had changed my perspective. Like, some of this stuff was deep in his soul. This is stuff that he, to like that level, right? That level of just hatred.
Yeah.
Um, and the way that it just really rips apart these different marginalized folks, it just makes you wonder, like, what kind of person he is.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, we saw what kind of person he is when he lost it, when Matthew wanted to stay. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, and it's interesting because if you are watching, if you didn't know about those
Right.
posts, those tweets, or Instagram pages that he was following and that he liked those specific posts, you would have felt somewhat of a red flag watching the way he responded.
Mm-hmm.
And that in this moment, I was like, oh, wait, where's the Devin that I thought would be a good bachelor?
Mm-hmm.
Because I wouldn't put him anywhere on that list, right? Again, it's hard to separate
No, no,
the
but I
fact
agree with
that,
you. Yeah, it was like,
yeah,
excuse you, what? Like you're just like, she does it, I'm leaving. Like,
I was kind of startled by
yeah,
it. It kind of triggered me. I was like, whoa, what is this?
yeah.
And just the way he reacted, and he was unwilling to listen. He didn't even trust. She just gave you a rose. Like, yes, it would kind of stink if she brought this another person in,
Mhm.
but you already are in here with people that she's making out with, and dude, it's what you signed up for.
Mhm.
So what? She knew him a little longer. That does not matter. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It just like shows kind of the person that I would think he would probably be in a relationship based off of
Hmm.
the context now which we know. Um
Yeah.
Insert Kamala Harris quote now. I don't know. Like everyone now we know the context of which we all live in, Devin, and we understand that you're a
Yeah.
piece of shit, and I can never not see it. But regardless, it was already that was the thing is it was it's so because we were all kind of
Hmm.
like to him earlier, and then we're like woo,
Hmm.
and then we're like and then now we're like and it's just truly a show of somebody with like low moral character, someone who does not know who he is, who is
Hmm.
somebody who likes those types of posts. To me is somebody who is the word of the day, a sheeple. It's like almost, I'm sorry, it's almost as if the show is mocking me and
Yeah.
him and all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Seriously, like what? I don't know. Like, why would he think? Yeah, like it's one of the sheep. It's one of these crazy radical people
Mhm,
who just like sound bites and they don't actually do the work to understand
mhm.
other people's perspectives and other people's lived experiences. So the fact that he would just, at this age, in this time where we are right now,
No.
there's no way that she could be with someone like that. And even if, God forbid, that she picked this man, there's no way that they could stay together.
Right. No.
Yeah.
Which
I mean,
yeah, God, she seems to be hinting at trouble somewhere. But
yeah,
I'm
she's living
still
in it. She's setting up a tent.
yeah. Oh God, truly is. I'm still holding out my hope that because she told me Jenna personally on Call Her Daddy podcast that she asks her fantasy suites men who they voted for and their credit score. I'm hoping,
I
you
mean,
know,
she's gotta have picked.
yeah, yeah, but I feel like yeah. But also it's just like there's not a good selection of men really, and
Mhm.
they could lie because he clearly is a fucking snake and can like put on a certain personality, so whatever.
I
I
think the
am
question that should also be asked in fantasy suites moving forward is, where were you on January 6th? I need to know. I need receipts. I need
yeah.
to find out I need your coordinates from that day. I
Provide
need to
me.
know.
I need to
I need to know.
like
Because
see
if
your
you're
timesheet from when you worked that day at your job.
Yeah, I need to make sure that you didn't take PTO to go start an insurrection. So I just need to know.
Yeah, okay, can we just make a quick divert to James McCoy Taylor? Were you around during JoJo's season? JoJo Fletcher?
I was around in life, but I did not watch that season. I watched the
Yes.
recap.
Oh yeah, the goat of it all. Yeah, exactly. Well, this piece of shit's a super MAGA. Like he writes songs for Trump. You've probably seen my stories.
Oh wait, oh
Um,
that guy. Yes, 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 yes. I
yeah.
already know all about him. Yes.
So he
Is
was recently arrested again for um trigger warning, assaulting young college women. And but in his statement to the news with this second arrest over assaulting a 19-year-old, he said none of this is true and you guys are just using my political beliefs to ruin my life. He literally said, I didn't, the quote's there, but he literally says something like that. I just haven't the exact words, but I'm just like, are you, oh my
hmm.
God. It's just like insane. And I'm not surprised though, because his, king, the one he stands, has
Hmm.
gotten hall passes for assault, for misconduct, for arrest, for breaking the law. And so he's just like thinks he can just be like, no, I'm above it. And it's like insane.
It's so good. It's so good how he's showing himself as well.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she would even pick someone close to this guy. It's just they're all on the is he a part of the turning point?
He is. He was. He might have been kicked out. A lot of people don't even like him. Like a lot of people in the conservative field don't even like him. That's why he has to go to college bars and like hit on 19-year-olds. Because even MAGA women do not want to be with him because he is.
Wow.
Pathetic. He's like just like a
Wow.
loser. And he's like 38 and he's never really had a serious relationship. And he, I one time I saw a video of him like basically crying on social media about how lonely he is, and I just was like, oh God, you love to see it. You fucking love to
I
see
mean,
it.
dude, why do you think that?
But it's sad. Like what's sad about it is that he's told this lie that women want this like alpha, like
Hmm.
man of the house, conservative, God fearing guy, and it's like he does it so badly that even the women who have been taught that don't want him.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
anyways.
they're all learning. They're all
Ugh.
living and learning or whatever they're doing.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, we have the group date, the sheep are there. I do feel for you now knowing that you're not a fan of wildlife. There was like at least 200 of these things running towards you on the
I would
TV
have quit.
screen.
I would have been like, you know what? This isn't right. If you expect
Absolutely
me to
not.
stay here, you don't really love me. We can't have a relationship. So I'll see you
Uh,
later.
I did
Yeah.
love that they made the men shovel shit. I thought it was like a good payback for when they made Nick Viall's women shovel shit at a
Hmm.
farm. And Devin gets the extra time for
Not the rose.
not the rose. He gets the extra time because he did nothing, frankly. And then we have the nighttime portion, and we have, well, you mentioned earlier, kind of the beginning also of like a lot of her spiraling this episode is that Austin, who we've heard maybe like 5 words from, comes
Hmm.
forward and is like, well, clearly I'm not a favorite of hers, and she didn't give me a one-on-one date, and I think I should probably go home. And she's like, oh, it's me, right? I'm a monster. And I was like,
Yep.
Jen, no. Oh,
Yep.
it was sad.
Yep. It's like I said, like her questioning herself, she'd have been like, yeah, cool, okay.
Yeah, like we're good. Like for Gary's, was it Gary or Jerry? Gary, the old man, the senior bachelor.
Oh, yeah, it
Gary.
doesn't matter.
For
Gary.
Yeah, for all his faults, what I did appreciate is like when they were all just like, I'm not gonna be here anymore, I don't really want to go, he was just like, yeah, it's probably
Hmm.
best. And I was like, yeah, exactly. You should, like, when somebody comes up to you and is like, it's not working, I always would say, go thank that person, shake their hand and be like, thank
Yeah.
you for not wasting my time.
Yeah. No, but especially if there's been nothing, like zero. There hasn't been anything. So
Yeah.
it was unfortunate, but
Hmm.
hopefully, she got over it relatively quickly.
Yeah. She decides to give no one a rose because she's in her feels, and I think to your point again earlier also is that none of them have really stepped up to be like really there to comfort her in a good way. Like
Mhm.
some of the men were. Marcus, of course, is they're building this
He needed
connection.
comforting.
Ah, it's so true. He's like, let's mirror each other. It's like, wait, is this not about you?
Yeah, again.
Oh, Christ. And then yeah, then we get. Oh, I guess we jumped over Jonathan's one-on-one date. We have Jonathan a one-on-one date and a one-on-one date with Grant. Two of which are my favorites currently.
Oh, they're my favorites too.
Yeah,
Grant is just great to look at. He looks a
absolutely.
lot like a former winner.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Um,
And he's great. And I remember like it was like 2 weeks ago or something, like they had this like brief moment on a couch, and I was like, oh, he is so smooth in a nice way. Like it's good. I felt like
mhm.
he was like talking about his family in a way. That was really nice. And it was just like, I was like, where'd you come from, Grant? And I like it. So I was really grateful to see that continue. Jonathan also has been like surprising me, and I think is great. I mean, he's clearly, I think he's probably one of the more handsome men, I guess. Like him, Grant, and then like I thought Dylan was very handsome.
We didn't even get
Um,
to see
but yeah, yeah, I don't
Dylan sneeze.
know.
I don't even know if he had time to take a dump. He is.
So true.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think about Jonathan's date? And they had a little date in the winery, of course, after torturing both of them again by putting them in the air.
Yeah. They're both like, we're terrified of heights. They're like, fantastic. That has to stop. I don't like that. That's just terrible. I liked Jonathan a lot. They seem to have a natural chemistry.
Mhm,
It's a mix of what she has with Dylan and with Sam M, which is the
mhm,
Sam M is definitely more physical chemistry.
mhm,
And Devin, I feel like there's a more emotional connection. And I think she has both with Jonathan.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
um, and they enjoy each other, and they look good together.
Mhm.
He is very handsome. Um, I didn't love the story that he talked about with his ex. So that was a little red flaggish, but
Okay, because I felt it as a red
mm.
flag, and then I kind of was like, Jen kind of like cleared it, and I was like, am I just being a little bit of a man-hating lesbian? Because I have been this whole season. I've been like literally every single trauma that every man has like done. I was like,
Mm.
I don't care, boring. Your fiance cheated on you. I don't give a shit. Boo.
Don't care.
Like I don't care, and I kind of was
Yeah.
like, okay, this seems like I really was seeing like I like kind of didn't believe him, but then I was like, I need to unpack that.
Hmm.
But I'm interested to hear that you also maybe will raise your eyebrows.
Yeah. No, yeah, no, like well, the triggers, my God, there's so many of them. I think that's what makes it harder for me to stay present in the episode is because of all the freaking triggers
Yeah.
that they have going. There's so much narcissism. There's so many boundaries that are crossed. There's so much just ego. There's a lot that has nothing to do with Jen. Jen doesn't even have to be present for most of this stuff to happen. So I think that that is just terrible.
Yeah, so true. Oh boy. Um, and then but he gets a rose, of course. And Grant, his 101,
Hmm.
it was a little bit more calm. They didn't fly, which was good. um, and they just had like a
Yeah.
nice picnic and got to know each other a little more. Grant opens up about his father being like a lifelong addict and
Hmm.
how he has trouble trusting people because one of his main pillars, the people you grow to learn to trust, wasn't somebody he could put that faith in.
Right.
And then which that part alone, I was just like, ooh, I appreciated that. I bet a lot of people really needed to hear that and feel
I
validated
did.
in that. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then he mentioned that his father was entering into rehab right before he left the show, and I just found that very I mean, it was both part of me was like, "Ooh, I don't need to know all this information," but
Right.
also, that's Grant's story, and it's.
And if he wants to tell it, yeah, we kind of went back and forth on this because
Yeah.
you're always it's an extension of other people whenever people especially when people talk about the exes. I'm like, unless it's like, oh, she went to be a nun, that's like, okay, great, that's cool, like but if you're like, that trick, she turned out and she like left me hanging and she broke up and she called me crazy and you're adding people into the mix. I
Yeah.
feel like it was his story to tell, and I feel like he has the emotional intelligence and also the empathy and the compassion to share things from a space of love,
Yes.
and that he didn't mean harm. I think he
Right.
was just also like just being vulnerable.
Hmm.
And even though they push the hell out of you to be vulnerable on the show,
True.
I felt like he wouldn't have done it if he didn't want to.
Hmm. Yeah. Good point. Yeah. Uh, do you? I worry if he goes to hometowns, would they try to like incorporate this in any way? And it made me a little anxious. But that's not on Dylan. Or sorry, on Grant. That's
Yeah, I
the
mean,
show.
lately they haven't, because which one was it? Couple of seasons, I think even in charity season, I can't
Mm.
remember who it was. I can't remember her other two. My God, just Joey and Dotton to me.
Yeah.
But even then, um, oh yeah, it was Aaron and
Oh,
Xavier.
right. Yeah, yeah. One of them, their
But sometimes
father.
they
Yeah.
don't, like, if there's no other family member, which actually I think all the parents were on these.
Hmm.
So maybe it was a previous season, but they don't always do that, you know? And so I think that I can appreciate that they don't always bring the father. Maybe if you think back to Ben from Tasha season, they don't always bring, if there's like an absent parent or something, then they don't always have to bring them.
No, it's true. and I hope they don't, because I hope they learned their lesson during a couple times when they did do that, and it was
Right.
not really healthy, including Matt James, of course, which was really horrific the way they did that.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, what do you feel like their connection is strong? You know, what are your
Grant, I think it's getting there.
yeah,
I think this is the way that people date in real life, which it's like a slow burn. It's not like a rushed, like
like
an
Sam?
accelerated version of like, and we get it, right? We watch the show because we are toxic ourselves. And so we just watch this. We're gluttons for punishment. But I do think that there's a connection.
Yeah.
I definitely think that there's something inside of those two stories. I relate to both.
Mhm.
I've had, partners that have and been impacted. My son has been impacted due to the same, person or people, but drugs and alcohol. And I've also been impacted by people saying, you know, diminishing my experience with racism, right? Dating somebody. And so I think both of them talking about those things that they probably could both relate to on some level made a world of difference. And she really did open up in a different way and talk about that she was so, again, people that bring the best out in you, like he brought out a side of her where she
Mhm.
was puffing her chest out a little bit. She was much more confident
Mhm.
in this interaction
Yeah.
than she was, with, begging that dude to stay. And every time she talks to Sam M and,
Yeah.
so anytime.
So true. No,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right. Because I was like, I really loved what she said when she opened up about her
Hmm.
experience. I know, yeah, it was triggering for you and many others, I'm sure, but I was just like, wow, I'm glad we're seeing this. Like, it's like hearing somebody just be like, that's not correct. That's not how we should
Hmm.
be in relationships. I think hopefully, like in this climate that we're in, is really important for some people to hear, and to validate it. And so I was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
she didn't have to say that, and I feel like she might not
Hmm.
have. You're right, if she didn't feel comfortable and safe in that moment. So good on her and good on Grant, and I think they're gorgeous together. And I'm just hoping for the best,
Yeah.
but I'm expecting the
I just want
worst.
to envision what they do. The third to last week.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Grace.
Yeah.
Well, yep. We get a rose. So actually, so we are gonna go to our cocktail party for the rose ceremony, and Jen comes in looking
Mm,
stunning in this purple dress that.
stunning.
Oh my
Stunning.
god.
Stunning.
And she's like, "Hi guys, I had a great week, but I'm not gonna talk to you anymore. I do not care
Yeah.
about any of you guys." And I was
I
like,
love that for her and for us. Thank you, Jen. I love that for us because I too was exhausted. I was like, we don't need this. She knows who she doesn't want to pick.
exactly.
I was like, we're all exhausted.
Yeah.
And Dylan, my man, I hope I see you on the beach, but that was okay. She doesn't want you. I mean, it worked out. I was like, this is great. Because I was tired. I was like, I don't think I can get through another. And I was like, oh, look, how are they going to squeeze a cocktail party in here? And they didn't. And I was like, this is a
Exactly.
relief. I feel relief. So I know she felt relief because I could not sit through it.
And I
I
also
could
like
not.
I kind of loved like her doing it too. I just felt like it was like more powerful for her to like
Oh, it
look them
was
in
so
their
good. Yeah,
eyes
it
and be
wasn't like,
like,
oh, yeah. She was like, yeah, hey. Yeah, we didn't need Jessie. It was just her. She was like, so see you soon.
for some of you, never again.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my break. And then we're gonna jump right into it. And I was like, yes, yes, let's do this.
Okay, and also throw back to the very beginning of the episode on this similar vein when she sits down to tell the men that Matthew has come to ask to stay.
Yeah.
She's like, she just like, she's emotional about it, but she's just like, so yeah, anyway, he came here to like confess his love for me. And she kind of like rolls her eyes, and I was like, Queen, you are
Um,
the main character. And
yes.
I know that probably riled some fucking weirdos in at home who are like, I don't like Jen, and I wish there was a white woman. And she's like, yeah, he
I'm
like
sure.
flew here to like confess his love for me or whatevs. And I was like, absolutely, say
Well,
it again.
we're too woke. That's what everything's getting too woke. So that's why we can't have an Asian woman. Why can't we just have things the way they were? Make it great again.
Shut up. I'm sorry.
I used to watch the show, but things changed. Everything's changing. What do you mean? Well, it used to just be like a show. Like now they're going out of their way to, yeah. Keep going. Keep
Mhm.
telling me what you really feel.
No, actually, you're right. Like it's like when you see those comments or like the show has like not aged well. I'm
Mhm.
like, tell me why. I would like to know why. And then yeah, it's like inevitably it's like well, because Chris Harrison's not there. Okay, well, one, why is he not here? Can we label that? And then also, why do you like him so much? Like he didn't do anything other than be shitty
Nothing.
to the contestants.
Jesse gives us more flair and more personality. Like that man barely gave us anything. And he was not as fun to look at, quite frankly.
Frankly, yeah. Oh, like listen, yeah. And I
That's what they
feel
have to try to find bachelors that are like less attractive than Jesse, and it's very hard.
I know when they had Zach, I was like, could we have Jesse? Like, I know he just got married, but like,
But like maybe he's open to something because I was like, I need to see Jesse more.
absolutely.
I need Jesse to be, yeah. I mean, Zach is nice. He's a nice boy.
Well, yeah, but
Where
like they looked so similar too. So like that was like the thing. It was just like
that was the
very
thing. It
like I
was
was
like,
like, okay,
oh, here we go.
well, we're so
Like
close.
Clayton that looks like Zach and
Yeah,
Jesse, and yeah, it was a
yeah.
mess.
But yeah. Anyway, and personally, I'm kind of like digging the vibes between Jen and Jesse. Like every time they talk, I'm like kicking my feet and
Yeah,
giggling.
like can we just please give Jesse his flowers? Like he has really, and I get when in the way he got this position of the man who hosted his season, right? He took his job. I mean, well, he really took it from Caitlyn and Tasha, but he took his job, and I knew, and I remember for the people that didn't know Jesse from before, because I wasn't even watching all those seasons back then, but I
Mhm.
definitely knew who Jesse Palmer was.
Yeah, he was on
And I
other
kind of
shows
vaguely
and
remembered that he was on The Bachelor, but I watched sports. So I knew he was on sports. He's on Food Network. He hosts, my friend won a contest or was on one of the contests. I don't know if it was
yeah.
on the one that he hosted. But she's a cookie baker and she was on shows with
Yeah.
him. So I knew where he was. I knew he was sort of this like up and coming Ryan Seacrest, having a lot of jobs and gigs that he hosts. So when
Exactly.
he came and was made as the choice, I said, I'm not mad at this. I'm
Mm-mm.
not mad at this. This is not a terrible choice.
Mm-mm.
Um, but people were irate. So I feel like in the beginning they had him say less and just look pretty, which I was comfortable with. And then as over time he started to transition into, being witty and having his own
Yeah.
flavor.
Yeah.
And he's really good. He's good in those tell-alls. He's good. I like
No,
him.
he is good. No, he really
Yeah.
is. Oh my God. Should I make like a Jesse Palmer fan cam? Like I'm like there was like this one moment during like Zach or charity season. I think it was Zach's when they were in European or whatever, and he like they're watching them do some stupid race and he has the cup in his mouth and his glasses on, and he's clapping. It's just
Oh,
like
so good.
it's so good. It's just like classic. He's just so perfect. I just love it.
Yeah,
And
he's great, and he's just great to watch, and he was great also with Charity.
right.
He was great with Charity. He was good with Zach. I mean, Zach and him, right? That was both their first season.
Hmm.
So, and again, it was it was a little weird, but him and Charity, fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like you said, he has a lot of jobs. He's too busy to be problematic, and that's what Chris Harrison lacked. He was resting on his laurels.
He was a one-trick pony.
Yeah, and he said, "I'm gonna give you guys a couple other tricks, and it's called yelling at Rachel Lindsay." Okay,
Yes.
so yeah, that's basically the episode. We get a preview of the rest of the season, new clips, a ton of new clips. Definitely kind of
Hmm.
spoils some hometowns.
So I
Um,
don't watch them anymore. I kind of lower it, or I
okay,
don't even look
good,
at what's
smart.
happening next
Okay.
week
Mm-hmm.
because you can share, but
Yeah.
I didn't look. I don't look anymore because then I kind of figure out, and I'm like, oh,
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
even
we
though
had
it messes with my picks for the week
so true,
in the
yeah.
past, but I'm like, I just might as well just try this out.
Yeah, so true. I mean, yeah, there's just like we get like two that are pretty obvious for hometowns, and then like some other ones that
Hmm.
are just kind of like hard to say.
Right.
She is talking to it's getting more nasty of just like, are you really here for the right reasons? Blah blah blah. She has some kind of confrontation with Sam. It's hard to say when and where it happens. Jesse. Then we get the classic line we have heard before, where like she's definitely saying something, and Jesse's like, are you okay with the outcome of this? And, so we don't know what that
Mhm.
is. We see clips of her brother, so we're like definitely ramping up. And I'm excited. I'm excited because I love Jen so much, and I do like when it gets really dramatic towards the end, but I just, as we mentioned a million times, the men could be much better, and I
Mhm.
feel like it's a shame. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna
Yeah, I think yeah, we'll see what happens. I really hope I remember there was a point, and it happens in many seasons, but I remember there was a point in charity season when people were like, Brayden, oh my God, why doesn't she just, and she's like, you have to give me time, y'all, like, just keep watching,
do? Hmm.
I hope it's a little harder because Jen has a couple of those types. And I
Hmm.
mean, Brayden, she'd be lucky to have Brayden to contend for because, man, I mean, he's far better than a lot of these guys.
Oh, truly,
Like,
better to
he's
look
not bad
at
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 all.
least.
No, I mean, this is, it's just crazy.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
damn. Ugh, gross. Ugh. Well, thank you so much. This has been the best. You
Thank you.
double dutied. Everyone, make sure you're checking out Rose Noire, the podcast. They've been doing great episodes this season. They also have a clubhouse every week, so you can have
Hmm.
live. You can listen live to everyone who's joined the clubhouse to like they're watching the show and reacting
Hmm.
during the commercial breaks. It's so great. So please check that out. And yeah, anything else exciting that you want to talk about?
No, we're gonna have some very special guests coming up. We're really excited. So not only well, Jen is of course going to be on
I'm gonna be on,
in a couple of weeks,
yeah.
but we have some folks we haven't done batch. We had some off season batch interviews with some names, some names that we have some coming up again, which we're excited about. And we're really trying to cover other shows. I don't watch TV anymore.
Mm.
Literally the only reason why I watch the show is because I have to podcast about it. So it is at this point I'm just tapped
Uh,
out.
yeah.
And so I don't have to, because I travel so much, I don't have time to watch shows.
Yeah.
Unless there's something that like, okay, I definitely need to watch this. I watch it all every year,
Hmm.
like Love is Blind or
Right.
something. So
Yeah.
so yeah, so but take a listen. We're gonna try to do some stuff. We're trying to avoid being super political, but I mean, how could we not be?
Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
Given that we are four Black women, so definitely take a listen for sure.
Yeah, I really, really recommend it. You guys have been great. You've been wonderful voices. Really beautiful community just to be friends with everybody. I think it's great that you do have four hosts plus an additional guest. Like you're really getting, as your like little theme song says, like you are going to be providing takes from all sorts of voices, and it's like so important. And so I love you guys.
Love you too. We love the
Yeah.
support always. We're excited to have you on again this
Yeah.
season, and yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Oh my God, this fucking season. Okay, but yes, thank you so much again. Thank you, Claudia. I love you. And
Love you.
yeah, thanks to everybody for listening to the season and getting hyped with me in the DMs. I am working on a bunch of stickers. I did promise everybody in the stories this week I'm gonna be making like weird merch, and I'm very excited for it. And so just stay tuned. It'll probably take a couple weeks, but I hope you guys will enjoy it when it drops. And until then, stay woke, sheeple.
Peace.